Hey guys, we're going to learn about vectors today. And so I want to share with you basically what they are and how to find the components. So for a vector, it is something on the coordinate plane that you graph, that it starts at a particular point, ends at a particular point, and where it ends, it will have an arrow. They'll refer to these points as x sub 1, y sub 1, and where it ends is x sub 2, y sub 2. So I just want to emphasize that where it ends, it's the x sub 2, y sub 2. What you're going to want to do is figure out the components of this vector. Vector, I'm going to call this vector v. So I'm going to put a little v over it. And it's usually lowercase and bolded, and it has a little arrow on top of that. So I'm referring to that as vector v. They might have a point where it starts and where it ends. Like if I refer to this as point A, B, it looks much like a ray in geometry. So ray AB is basically a vector. It has direction and it has distance. So if I'm asking you for the components of the vector, the formula is, it has a little arrow, and it is x sub 2 minus x sub 1 for the A value, and y sub 2 minus y sub 1 as the B value. So in Canvas, you'll see the vector referred to as an AB. So if I'm wanting to calculate the components of this vector, I would have to give you 2 points. So let's say, for example, one that I gave you a point x that is at negative 1, 2, and it ends at y that's going to be at negative 3, negative 3. So I want you to find for xy the vector's components. So that means that I'm going to do, in my formula, x sub 2 minus x sub 1 for the a value. So that's a negative 3 minus a negative 1. Notice minus is part of the formula. I'm plugging in the negative 1. And then it is going to be y2 minus y1. So it's going to be negative 3 minus a 2. And that's going to be the components of the vector. Just simplify that. So this is going to make this a positive. So it's going to be a negative 2. So I end up making those positive. And then negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5. So the components of my vector is negative 2 comma negative 5. So my A value is the negative 2 and my B value is the negative 5. That's how you find the components of a vector.